And we're back. I survived 300 days of hardcore Minecraft. Before I get into it, I want to mention 3 things. So the first thing is that you guys have repeatedly told me that in the F3 menu that there is a day counter, and I know that. I am well aware of that. And the reason I don't use it is because sometimes I get on the world just to like show some of my friends like my progress, because they don't watch my videos. A lot of my friends don't even watch my videos at all, so I like to show them, and sometimes I just like to get on just to see how my world's doing. And the second thing is that you guys repeatedly keep telling me that the brightness is too low, and yes, that is my fault. I apologize for that. That is all my fault. And whenever I'm in a dark space, I'll try to like brighten the video so it's not that dark. And the third thing is that whenever I'm in my inventory, you guys keep saying that my mouse is like spazzing out, and I don't know why it does that. It's perfectly normal for me. It's only in the recording when that happens. I don't really understand why it's doing that. But anyway, let's get into the video. Hope you guys enjoy as we move on to day 201. So I started right where I left off on day 200, and on this day, I started to gather materials for a creeper farm. I really needed gunpowder because I had limited rockets, and I really needed rockets because, you know, elytra. And I do know you could use a trident, like with the riptide, but I kind of forgot about a trident, and you guys kept telling me over and over to get a trident. And I did get one later on, but I didn't actually use it really for anything, so let's move on to the next day. It took me a whole day to find the jungle, and the reason I needed to find the jungle was because I needed scaffolding to make the creeper farm just so much easier, and I just wanted scaffolding because I didn't have any. I get back home from the jungle, and it takes me about the whole day to actually get back, and towards the end of the day, I start to build the base of the creeper farm, and it was going perfectly fine at this point. It actually takes me 2 days to build the base of the creeper farm because I am very slow at building, and I don't know why it took me so long. It was such a simple build, but it still took me 2 days. So let's move on to day 206. So it takes me this whole day to gather the materials for the actual creeper farm itself, like the place where the creepers actually spawn. For some reason, it takes me the next 5 days to build this. I do not know why it took so long. Maybe it has to do with me watching a video, having to keep pausing it, keep watching it, or it has to do with me being complete garbage at building. Day 212 was the day that I finally finished a creeper farm, so I didn't have to worry about it anymore. And during this time, I ended up getting a raid on me, and I didn't think much of it. And then I realized, I went to my house and I was getting raided. And the good thing about this is that the pillagers actually don't really care about me, since the villagers are underground. I think the pillagers are just really confused. So I was happy to know that they didn't attack me. And for the rest of the day, I just farmed my sugarcane. Day 213, I was back to the Nether, and I just wanted to try to get some netherite because I wanted to complete my armor stands with netherite armor. But with all the TNT I had, I only got 1 piece of scrap. So basically, for the entire rest of the days, like all the rest of the days, all up to 300, I didn't bother mining at all. I ended up getting a lot of sand during day 214, and then later that day, I was trying to find turtles. And I found them, and I kindly asked them if I could take their children, and they said yes, so I took their children, and that's the end of that day. There wasn't much I did this day, and later that day, I actually got really annoyed because a creeper was like hiding in like the storage area for the creeper farm, and I didn't see him, and he kind of ended up blowing up a section of the creeper farm, and it was just really annoying. So I just rebuilt that, and let's just move on to the next day. So today was the day that I finally decided to build an aquarium. And this aquarium took me about 2 days to build, roughly. So let's just move on to the next day when I actually finish it. So I finally finished the aquarium. And for any of you guys out there, could you like tell me why exactly this turtle I placed down, like turtle egg, why it's not hatching? Like, I don't know if it needs sunlight or anything. Just if you guys could tell me if you know the answer to that, that'd be great, because I have no idea how to hatch a turtle. So I went back to the stronghold. And the reason I came here was to just get books. I don't know why I got books. I mean, I guess they're kind of helpful. I get to like enchant them, but that's literally all I did this day. Let's move on to the next day. I started to gather materials for a cobblestone generator because you can never go wrong with cobblestone when you need it. And this generator is probably one of the best like farms, I guess, I've seen. Like non-XP farms, like you're trying to get materials from them. It gives a lot of cobblestone. And for the rest of the day, I just farmed a lot of trees. This day was basically the same as the last day. I was just gathering materials for the cobblestone generator, and I just spent the rest of the day getting as much wood as I can. So I needed a piece of ice, and for some reason I just didn't have ice at this point, so it took me this whole day to find just some ice, and luckily I did actually find ice. So let's move on to the next day. For some reason, the only thing I did this day was get a sea lantern. I don't know what my reason was. I don't remember ever getting a sea lantern, but so I did this day. So let's move on to the next day. This day was such a waste of time. I was trying to find a coral reef because for the cobblestone generator, you need a coral fan. I believe that's what they're called. And I just could not find one this day. I could not find coral reef. I went back to my Enderman farm to repair my elytra. And at the end of this day, I finally found a coral reef. I was so happy. So let's just move on to the next day. So this day I started to make my cobblestone generator. And for the next few days, it takes me about 4 days to make it. So I'm going to do a time lapse of that right now.
And gold cover me like skin over skeleton bones. I chase the high, let the stranger soothe me like a lullaby. Oh, the desert mirage keeps moving further out of reach. All I know now is I know nothing now, but maybe it's okay to be lost in your backyard. Okay, to wonder words in the dark. Okay, to be lost in your backyard. Are we all just faking it? Maybe it's okay to be lost in your backyard. Okay, to wonder words in the dark. Lonely little terrified hearts. Are we all just faking it?
Hope you guys enjoyed that little time lapse. I didn't really know what music to put on it or anything, so I just did that. So anyway, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And so for day 230, I just basically farmed this entire day. So let's just move on to day 231. The next 4 days are spent basically just making my area around my house just look so much better. I added paths, I added lanterns, and I just made it look just a lot better. I fixed a lot of the terrain that was just broken, and it's just, yeah, that's all I did for these 4 days. So let's just move on to day 235. For day 235, I start to gather materials for an iron farm I'm going to make, because I don't necessarily need the iron, but it's just really nice to just have iron when you need it. These next 2 days were spent trying to get the villagers I needed. I needed 3 villagers, and it was so tedious because they would not get in the minecarts. It was just all over the place. I think I accidentally killed a villager too. It was just crazy. And when I got all the villagers there, I also had to get a zombie. And I named that zombie Caleb because if you're watching this right now, Caleb, I don't know if you are or not, but like you said you wanted to be named, like you want me to put a name in a mod or something like that. I don't think you wanted to be on a zombie, but I didn't know what else to do. You were the reason my iron farm's gonna work, so I guess that's a plus. So yeah, let's just move on to day 238. This whole day was just spent making the platform for the iron golems. There wasn't anything else I did this day, so let's just move on to the next day. So on this day, I finally finished the iron golem farm, and honestly, it was actually working like already, like right away. I was trying to build like these blocks below the chest so I can access the chest easier, but the iron golems actually can spawn on that, so I had to get rid of that. But yeah, it actually was working really well, so let's just move on to day 240. This day was just spent farming, so for most of these days, when I get to like the days where I just farm, I'm literally just going to say this day was spent farming and just move on. I was going to go back to the stronghold to go to the end to, you know, repair my elytra. I accidentally fell in lava when I was trying to get to this portal. I really should make like a platform for this. I didn't even make one yet. But yeah, I was just repairing my elytra, and at the end of that day, I was just farming my sugarcane. I was exploring, and I found some more turtles, and I kindly asked if I could take their kids away, and I took their kids away. And then there was a man standing next to me. I looked at him, and he got kind of mad at me, so I kind of had to kill him. I kind of asked more turtles if I can have their children, and they just kind of swam away when I asked them, so I was assuming that was a yes. I took their kids, and I went back home. I needed to repair my elytra, so I went to the end and just killed a bunch of endermen. And later that day, I was starting to make a storage room that was a lot bigger. Maybe not a lot bigger, but it just had a lot more chests, and I don't even really think I really didn't even use it, to be honest. I used it like for tools and armor, but I didn't really use it for anything else. I spent this day getting so much wood. I was trying to get a whole shulker box full of wood, but I just kind of gave up on that. And I needed all this wood to make that storage room. I began day 246 off with just getting wood again because I literally slept and just started to get more wood again right away. And towards like the end of this day, I was working on my storage room again. These next 2 days, days 247 and 248, I basically spent these entire days just making the storage room, and by the end of day 248 I finally finished the storage room. So for some reason I thought it was a good idea to actually gather the materials to make a witch farm, and I never actually ended up using it, but I built it anyway. So I needed string for the witch farm, and I was trying to try to get villagers to sell string to me, and I later found out that, at least from what I found, villagers don't give you string, you give them string, so I was really disappointed when I saw that. Let's move on to day 251. I was really trying to find a spider spawner. I remember that there was one I found like in the, I believe it was the 100 days or 200 days, I don't exactly remember, but I just could not find this spider spawner, so I just had to kill the spiders myself to get the string. So I just waited until nighttime, and I just killed every single spider that I could find. So I got all the materials I needed for the witch farm. However, I was seeing some iron golems like spawning in the wrong spots. So I was trying to make the platform like better so they wouldn't spawn in the wrong spots. And I just ended up making it worse, so I just left it how it was. So let's just move on to day 254. Just like the cobblestone generator, I'm going to do a time lapse with music. And I'm going to do that right now for the witch farm, and it takes me about 5 days.
You're a rolling stone, but I'm a cannonball.
Hope you guys enjoyed that little time lapse. And on day 259, I finally finished the witch farm. There wasn't anything else I did this day, so let's just move on to day 260. So this is a farming day, and as I said, whenever there's a farming day, I'm just gonna say I farmed, and we're just gonna move on to the next day. I really don't know what I did this day. From what I have in my notes, it literally just says that I was just checking on my farm, like all my farms, and I don't know what else I was doing, so I guess I'll just move on to the next day. This day was also very random. I guess I didn't really know what I was wanting to do, because from what I see, I guess I'm just collecting just items, like diamond gear, I guess. I don't know why I was doing this, but I did this. Okay, this is the last day I see that I just really don't do anything. And this day, I went to go check on my witch farm. I have no idea why I did this, because I knew that it wasn't going to be having items in it. And I believe I did hear a witch actually die in there, so I was like, okay, it is working, so we're fine. However, I just don't know why I checked it, because it wasn't going to be working when I was at my house, because it's just too far away. During this day, I was going to make a wither skeleton farm, because I wanted to eventually make a wither farm, but I didn't end up even bothering to make this wither skeleton farm, because you needed to find a very specific type of nether fortress, so I just ended up giving up on building this later on in the days. So as I said, you needed to find a very specific type of nether fortress, and it either has to be, from what I saw in the video, it either had to be in the soul sand valleys, or it had to be in a warped forest. And I found one in a soul sand valley, however, it needs to have a certain type of layout in it, and so that's why I kind of just gave up, because I didn't even care about this. So yeah, let's just move on to day 267. I'm gonna show you guys one of the things that almost happened to me that I probably would have just quit Minecraft altogether. Yeah, I almost died from a magma cube. I don't know how this happened. I mean, I was trying to walk past it, so make sure you guys don't walk into a magma cube, because they do a lot of damage. So I was going to head back home, and I ended up running out of rockets for my elytra, and it really sucked. I did get back home like with no problem, but still, having no rockets in the nether, it was so annoying. So let's just move on to the next day. So I really wanted sponges, and I traded with one of my cartographer villagers to get an ocean monument map. And towards the end of the day, I was starting to actually loot the ocean monument. I really thought that looting this temple was gonna be, or this ocean monument was gonna be a lot harder, but it was so easy. The guardians were easy to kill. Well, basically all the guardians, the elder guardians and the normal guardians, they were really easy to kill. I thought it was gonna be so much harder, but I think it's because my armor had to do with it. Really, they're not really doing much damage to me, but yeah, it was just so easy. And towards the end of the day, I actually had around like 2 stacks of sponges, so that was really nice. Got back home, and I went in the nether to dry all the sponges, and you guys should just listen to these sponges getting dried. It's such a satisfying thing to listen to. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to the sponges dry, and for basically the rest of the day, I just farmed. I was going to end up making a drown farm within the 300 days, so I spent this day just getting 2 stacks of obsidian. I don't remember it taking this long to mine this much obsidian. Yeah, it took me this whole day to mine 2 stacks of obsidian. Since I was going to be underwater for so long while making this drown farm, I had to make a lot of water breathing potions. I made like maybe 20 or so, and I did make night vision potions to help see underwater, but that literally didn't help at all. This day, I had to spend a lot of this time trying to find a deep ocean, because you have to find a deep ocean biome in order to start building this. So this day, I just started to begin building the drown farm. On day 275, I did finish a drown farm. However, the 2 portals that are in the nether, like the ones that are meant to make the drown farm actually work, they are over a lava pool. Like, they're over like a bunch of lava. So basically, I built a lot of cobblestone around them, so the gas just wouldn't hit them. During day 278, all I really did was just like farm my pumpkins and my melons, and I just went to go check up on like my iron farm, my creeper farm, you know, just those farms. So I wanted to explore a woodland mansion as well, so I tried to trade with my villagers, and I did get a woodland mansion cartographer, so I just basically bought the map, and I started to explore. I didn't end up finding it this day, however, I did find something really cool. I found a mushroom biome, And these are pretty rare. I think they're one of the rarest biomes in the game. Not entirely sure, but yeah, it was really cool to actually find one of those biomes. I arrived to the Woodland Mansion on day 280, and I didn't really have a reason to like go here. I just wanted to go to Woodland Mansion just because, you know, I just want to explore like the rare structures you can find. And while I was in here, I heard a sound. And I did not realize this at first. You saw that fire out the window, and I heard the fire. I turn around, the entire mansion is just burning. And I was really confused why it was burning. So I went to go check it out, and turns out there was a ruined nether portal that spawned inside of it. It was so unfortunate, and I didn't know that this could happen. So this is just an unfortunate day, so let's move on to day 281. I didn't really get much done at all this day because I was actually talking to somebody else, so let's just move on to the next day. I wanted to make a new nether portal room, and I wanted to make it like behind a wall, and I am awful with redstone, so you guys can make fun of me all you want, and I really do not care. It's just I struggled so hard with this, so let's move on to when I actually do finish this. By the end of this day, I finally finished my nether portal room, and honestly, I really like it. I think it looks nice, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't know how to build anything, so if you guys don't like this, I'm sorry, but I don't know what else to do. I was back to my raid farm, and the reason I was back to my raid farm is because I wanted to get emeralds, and I wanted to make a fully emerald beacon, like a max tier beacon with all emerald blocks by the end of this 300 days. So I was still at the raid farm during this day, and this day I was terrified because I ended up using a totem. So I really thought I was going to die, but luckily I didn't die. And that really could have been the end of my world, but luckily it wasn't. I wanted to extend my farm, but I couldn't do that at the moment because I had to fill in like this huge hole that was at the end of my farm. So I just spent this whole day filling in this hole. This day was spent trading with villagers to get as many emeralds as I can. And I don't know how to like trade fast with villagers. I don't know if like there's a certain way you could trade like really fast. But yeah, I just traded with villagers to get emeralds, and I didn't want to go back to my raid farm because, you know, I almost died. So let's move on to the next day. So I went to the nether during this day, and I just wanted to get a lot of bone meal blocks, or no, not a lot of bone meal blocks, a lot of just like bone blocks, so I can get a lot of bone meal. And there was a person that told me to make a nether hub, and I didn't do it within this days. I'm sorry, but I will eventually do that. I just was not thinking about that. So yeah, at the end of this day, I was just extending my farm for a bit. During this day, all of the bone meal I bone mealed a lot of the melons and pumpkins. And towards the end of that day, I was starting to prepare a little bit for the wither, so I made strength 2 potions. So all of the materials I made for that previous wither skeleton farm I was going to make that I didn't end up making, I just put all those materials back. And I went to go back to a nether fortress because I was going to need another wither skeleton head because I was going to make like a monument at the end of the days. And I did not find a wither skeleton head during this day, but the next day on 291, I finally got the wither skeleton head towards the end of the day. And then after that, I just went to bed, and let's move on to day 292. For these next 2 days, I was just spending my time at the raid farm because I needed emeralds. And luckily, nothing bad happened. We were fine. I didn't get close to dying. I didn't use a totem or anything. So let's move on to day 294. This day, I was trying to trade with my villagers again because I just needed a few more emeralds. I needed like 30 more emeralds, so I just traded with them, and at the end of the day I got just enough emeralds to make a fully emerald beacon. So on day 295, for some reason I thought it was a good idea to put my beacon on top of my house. I do not know why I did this because I originally was going to do it, but my house wasn't like even with the beacon, so I decided to make it underground instead. I made it like next to my storage room, like kind of on the second level of my storage room, put it like behind that. Day 297 was the day I decided to kill the wither. So I grabbed my strength 2 potions, I went down into the mines and went really, really far away from my house. And there was something I realized that I didn't actually realize when I was fighting it. I was taking a lot of damage from the wither. And I was really confused why I was taking so much damage. And then I looked at my armor, and it turns out my chest plate wasn't even on. So I put on my chest plate, drank a strength 2 potion, and I killed it really fast. And I was so happy to realize that I just killed the hardest boss in Minecraft. So I knew now I could finally chill out, and I wouldn't have to worry about fighting the wither. And I wanted to build a monument in showing that all the bosses I killed, so I wanted to put a sponge for the Elder Guardian, a wither head for the wither, and the dragon head for the ender dragon. However, this day was spent basically trying to fix the terrain so I could actually like make the monument. So this day I finally finished the monument, and if you guys realize who I took inspiration from, props to you. That's pretty cool. And so let's just move on to day 300. So for this day, I'm literally just gonna like do a showcase of the world while I do my outro. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I appreciate you guys all of your support on the last video and the 100 days video. Like you guys are the reason why I'm making videos. And if you guys want me to keep making videos, make sure to leave a like. Don't forget to, you know, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.